Hello and welcome to today's APO Productivity Talk. I'm Kentaro Endo from the Industry Division of the APO Secretariat based in Tokyo. The APO is an intergovernmental organization promoting productivity, fostering innovation, and enhancing competitiveness in its 21 member countries in the Asia-Pacific region. The topic of today is Lean and MFCA for green productivity. Lean manufacturing and material flow cost accounting, MFCA, are essential tools and techniques, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, during the COVID-19 pandemic. Lean and MFCA are also major contributors to Green Productivity GP developed by the APO as a strategy for enhancing productivity while improving environmental performance. In this session, Green Productivity Enhancement through Lean and MFCA will be introduced. Examples of synergy between Lean and MFCA will also be given. Today, we are honored to have Mr. Saravanan Gopalakrishnan from National Productivity Council, NPC India. Thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon, Mr. Saravanan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Endo, and all other ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Saravanan is Director, NPC India, and have working experience for 22 years. He holds Bachelor of Engineering and Postgraduate Diploma in Industrial Engineering. He is also Certified Energy Auditor of India and Certified Professional in Project Management. Mr. Saravanan, I'd like to ask you to start your presentation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Endo. I once again welcome all the ladies and gentlemen for this productivity talk. First of all, I would like to congratulate APO for taking this initiative to have this P-Talk on the very, very important topic, Lean and MFCA for green productivity. I'm also thankful to APO for giving this opportunity to interact with you all. In this next 45 minutes, we will discuss about green productivity, tools like Lean and MFCA, how we can drive green productivity through waste minimization and resource conservation. If you see, we all tend to work towards the improvement in the productivity. But productivity is having a lot of perspective. If you see the social concept of productivity, it goes like this. Productivity is above all an attitude of mind. It is based on the conviction that one can do better today than yesterday. And the third important point is for a better quality of life. From the social perspective, if you see productivity, it is based on the attitude of mind that there will be continuous improvement towards better quality of life. So this is not the only perspective. If you see the technical perspective or the technical concept of productivity, the explanation is productivity is a ratio of output by input. Whereas output is only one factor, the input is not only one thing. Our productivity can be increased by reducing the input. The input is a combination of various factors like C, L, E, M, S, where you can see the definitions. C stands for capital, L for labor, E for energy, M for material, and S for other services. When we are focusing on the improvement of the productivity or on the continuous improvement, we can reduce the input. The input can be reduced by reducing any factor or many factors. For example, let us discuss about a hypothetical situation where energy and material is remaining constant And if we are focusing only on capital, labor, and other services, certainly there will be improvement in the productivity and there will be continuous improvement. But we tend to consume same level of energy and same level of resources. Now the question which comes in our mind is it sustainable? Now we are having a continuous improvement. We are having improvement in the productivity. Is the development is sustainable? So only, instead of merely focusing on the productivity, where the focus is on reducing some factors of the input, we started speaking about green productivity. In the green productivity, the thrust is given on the reduction in the factors of input, which is energy and material. For example, if you reduce the energy or the material, which are having some finite in nature, if we can conserve this energy or if we can conserve this material, we are not only looking at the development, we are looking at the sustainable development, which is that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So when the productivity is focusing on merely continuous improvement, this green productivity is focusing on two sides. It is focusing on the continuous improvement also, and at the same time, it focuses on sustainable development also. So we will have multiple benefits out of green productivity. If you see, this green productivity is a concept propagated by Asian Productivity Organization, whereas similar tools, technologies, or techniques is being followed by many countries or many multilateral agencies, and they are following with or calling with different names. The other names are similar for the concept similar to green productivity could be pollution prevention, waste minimization, cleaner production, waste reduction, eco-efficiency. Even in India, in fact, in the last portion of the 20th century, Government of India adopted or encouraged organizations to go for similar concept through waste minimization circles. But this, whatever the concept we are discussing now, is also similar to the waste minimization, but the name given for the concept is green productivity. What are the different features or important features of green productivity? For example, if you see any tools which tend to reduce the emission or tend to reduce the material consumption, it doesn't focus on the profit or any such things. Whereas the green productivity, when it is focusing on the importance of reducing the emissions or reducing the material consumption, it in no way impedes the growth. It is also focuses on the profitability. It also gives due importance to safety, health, environment. So it's a win-win factor for the environment, community, and also the business people. So that can be best illustrated with this diagram. Green productivity takes care of three important sides. One, it takes care of environment towards sustainable development. It takes care of the quality, the voice of the customer satisfaction is also improved. The third important thing for anyone to adopt these techniques is profitability. This green productivity focuses on material conservation, waste minimization. So certainly there is going to be a profitability for the organizations. So when environment, quality, profitability all are taken care by this green productivity, it's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders. So the benefits of green productivity are summarized here. It makes quality products, it improves the health and safety, it increases the profitability, it raises the morale of the people who are working in the organization. The image of the organization when they're going for the green productivity increases. It also helps the organization to comply with the legal regulations, and it also plays some role towards the environmental protection or the sustainable development. So green productivity is having multiple benefits. It's aiming at the environment, it's aiming at customer, it also aims at the business. So it is a good concept to adopt. since it is a win-win situation for all the stakeholders. So when there are much benefit because of this green productivity, how the organizations can implement this green productivity? What should be the intervention for the green productivity? For example, if you see this green productivity, there are three important stakeholders. One is people, the other thing is process, the third thing is the strategy. By selecting or involving people through good process and a well-defined strategy, green productivity can be attained by the organization. Towards attaining the organization, there will be a lot of tools, technologies or techniques, methodologies, and also the systems and programs. So if you see in a nutshell, logically speaking, how to achieve green productivity? The first step could be identify where the waste or the emissions are generated. The second thing is why the wastage or emissions are generated. The third thing is you find out or come out with a way how these wastages, emissions can be eliminated. Logically speaking, these three are the main thing. First, identify where wastages are coming. The second, why the wastages are coming. The third thing, will it be possible to eliminate? If it is not possible to eliminate, at least can we minimize the wastages? This speaks about the total green productivity. As I mentioned in the previous slide, variety of tools, techniques could be used towards green productivity. Some of the time-tested tools, which are aimed at a reduction of wastages, can be used for the attaining the objective of green productivity also. Such tools are lean manufacturing tools and also one of the important tool called material flow cost accounting. You see, I am very much fascinated by one important quote of Mr. Picasso. He is a well-known artist. As a green productivity practitioner, I am fascinated with his one quote. He is a well-known artist. He describes art as removing unnecessary things. As a green productivity professional, my role or my intention is also to identify the unnecessary things, to identify the wastages, and to eliminate the things. If you see, we are going to discuss about two tools or techniques. One is a lean management and the other one is material flow cost accounting. First of all, let us start with lean management. If you see this lean management, it is nothing but tools and techniques, a set of tools and techniques which is aimed at exposing the waste and eliminating the waste towards the improved productivity or green productivity. So if we have to implement lean, we should be very clear with one important terminology or the difference concept or the what is called terminology. One is value added activity and the other one is non-value added activity. If you go to any organization, there will be a lot of activities happening. But can we tell that all the activities are very adding value to the process? Certainly not. Value added activity or the activity for which the customer is interested to pay. The non-value added activity and the activity happening in the process about which the customer is not interested or he or she is not going to pay. Such activities can be termed as non-value added activity or MODA. So if you see, this lean is having a set of tools and techniques which can be aimed to identify different types of wastages. Some tools can be used to eliminate some set of wastages also. If we have to define lean based on the predefined previous slide, lean manufacturing or management can be defined as a systematic way to deliver highest quality of products at lowest cost with the least lead time with the relentless elimination of wastages. So if you see this lean, it focuses on quality, cost, time. All these three things are going to be achieved by relentless elimination of so-called wastages. And the additional or the important thing with respect to the lean is the focus is always on the customer, what they want, when they want, at a price they are willing to pay. You can see the last thing, using the least resources. So when we are using the least resources, our end objective of green productivity also will be attained. If you see this lean concept, as per lean manufacturing, there are 7 different types of wastages. Those wastages can be described as overproduction, excess motion, it may be the motion of operator or machine, excess weighting, it can be the weighting of operator or machine, excess transportation, mostly predominantly material is being transported in the organizations, over processing, excess inventory, defect, rework, or scrap. If you go to any industry and if you ask about waste, by and large, the people are feeling that the last said defect, rework, or scrap is the only waste coming in their organization. Whereas the people are not concerned about the previous said 6 different types of wastages. But as per lean, all these 7 are equally important and it has to be identified and eliminated. Let us see one by one. The first or one of the wastage is excess motion. If you see, what could be the reasons for excess motion? It may be because of poor housekeeping, poor layout, unclear work instructions, or unclear material flow. So if these are all the reasons, these may lead to excess motion. And if you see, if these things are prevalent in the organization, there are some remedy from the lean manufacturing. This could be 5S, value stream mapping, SOPs, or work instructions. The second important waste as per lean is weighting. It may be because of the operator or machine. You can see the reasons for the weighting. The main reason for the weighting may be imbalanced line, excess workforce, the workforce may not be flexible, unscheduled maintenance, high setup time, and also sometimes shortage of material or manpower also is a reason for the weighting. If these are all the reasons, then the remedy for removing the weighting is line balancing, value stream mapping, total productive maintenance. This total productive maintenance will help you to improve your maintenance practices and the availability of machine will be increased. SMED, single minute exchange die. So if there is any problem with your setup time, if it is taking more time, that can be reduced through SMED, just in time. So for example, if you are getting the material too much in advance, it has to wait till you start focusing on the material for the operations. So on the other hand, if you are having a practice like just in time, it will help your vendor to give the material in the stipulated time so that unnecessary or unwanted waiting of the material can be avoided. The third or the most cruel waste in the organization is the transportation, because the transportation mostly is material. If you see, because of the transportation, in sometimes there are some damages happening to the material also. It is affecting the safety of the workers also. It involves sizable resources. In some organizations, they use energy for transportation. So this is the most cruel wastage as per lean. If you wanted to improve your productivity or implement lean, one of the first steps could be to identify wherever you are having this unwanted transportation. The reasons for excess transportation could be poor layout, poor route planning, distant suppliers, and line imbalance. The remedies for these reasons could be value stream mapping, line balancing, and also supplier involvement. Another type of waste as per lean is over processing. So the reason is unclear customer specification. If your operator or your organization is not knowing what is the exact requirement of your customer, you will tend to do as per your perception. So sometimes you will do over processing. And the other reasons could be frequent design changes and also the excessive quality changes. Whenever there is frequent changes, the people are not clear what they are supposed to do. To be cautious, the people started doing excess. So that will result in the over processing. So inadequate value analysis. So whatever you are giving to the supplier, it should fetch you some value, or it should give some value to the customer also. For example, if I am doing something for $1, so whatever I am doing, is it worth only $1? For selling something at $1, I should not start processing equivalent to $1.5. So there should be some value analysis also. So the remedy for over processing could be standard operating procedures and also the employee involvement. The other normal wastages prevalent in the organization is defects, rejects, and also the repairs. The reasons may be mainly it is the lack of process control or unskilled process control, incapable process. Sometimes could be because of the unclear customer specification. The remedy for these defects are standardization, supplier involvement, quality at source, or also the implementation of tools and techniques like statistical process control. The next type of waste as per Lean is excess inventory. So the problem with this inventory is that it may be because of the raw material, it may be the inventory of WIP or the work in process, or the finished goods. If you see, there are two main problems with this excess inventory. One is, whenever we are storing something for more time, there is a chance that the material can deteriorate. There is a loss of material because of storage for over a particular time. The second thing is, whenever you are storing some material, you are blocking some capital. Nowadays, the organizations are having a problem of cash flow. So whenever you are reducing the inventory, you are having some two benefits. One is you are preventing material from unwanted damage or deterioration. You are also increasing the cash flow of the organization. You are avoiding the blockage of capital. So the remedy could be some concepts like a JIT, Kanban, line balancing, pull system. The similar to inventory, whenever you are producing more, for example, if I'm supposed to sell some 10 units, if I make some 20 units of that product, 10 units will be sold to the customer, then the remaining 10 units will be stored in my warehouse. So the reason for this thing could be push system and also the unclear customer requirements. So for example, again, similar to the inventory, here also there are two main problems. Whatever products I am storing in my warehouse can become outdated also, can get damaged also, can get deteriorated also. The second thing is I am blocking the capital. So the Lean is aimed at avoiding overproduction. That could be achieved through pull system or concepts like JIT and Kanban. So in the past 10 minutes, we are discussing about 7 different types of waste. If anyone is interested in the implementation of Lean and to eliminate this wastage, what should be the way forward? The first thing should be you visit your shop floor, you classify the elements as value added or non-value added activity. Then the wastages can be eliminated by these 4 easy ways. First thing, you find out the way. Can we eliminate the non-value added activity? Ideally speaking, we should eliminate the non-value added activity, but practically it won't be possible to eliminate all the non-value added activity. So wherever it is feasible, we should eliminate the non-value added activity. Wherever it is not feasible, we should try to minimize. The second thing is, wherever some activity is happening, can we combine the activities so that we can do it with less resources, maybe with less manpower, with less material, with less energy. The third thing could be rearranging. In some cases, rearranging will result in the reduction of time, will result in the reduction of resources also. The fourth thing is, can we simplify some process? So you see, if you see, there are a lot of technological developments happening. There are a lot of improvements in the systems. So the things which we started doing a few years back need not be so now also. So we should look at the ways and means of simplifying the process. The first thing should be to eliminate the non-value added activity. The second thing should be to combine the activities so that can we reduce some resources. The third thing is rearranging. The fourth thing could be, can we simplify the process? If we simplify the process, sometimes it results in the reduced lead time, it results in the reduced consumption of the resources. As I was telling earlier, this lean manufacturing is a set of around more than 13 tools. Each and every tool is having some benefit. It can be targeted or implemented based on some what is called diagnosis. Whenever you are going to the organization to implement the lean, first of all, you identify what is happening there. When we are discussing about the 7 wastages, the first thing what we saw was what is the problem. So based on that problem, the solution should be some of the lean tools. For example, if the workplace is not in an orderly fashion, so certainly the solution is 5S. So for example, other thing is, if you feel that there are a lot of non-value added activity, then the organization should go for the implementation or the practice of value stream mapping. Each and every place, what is the value added activity? What is the non-value added activity? How it can be reduced? So the tools like value stream mapping will help you to reduce the non-value added activity. The third thing is line balancing. As we are telling, seen when there is a lot of waiting, it may be because of the lack of balance. If one activity is taking some 10 minutes and the other activity is taking only 5 minutes, and if all are in the same line, the second person will be waiting for 5 minutes till the previous process is completed in 10 minutes. Whereas this line balancing is aimed at having all the work centers having the similar or the same type of time, cycle time. So the other tools may be cellular manufacturing, Poka-Yoke, just in time, Kanban. Whenever you are having a problem with the availability of machine, whenever you wanted to improve your overall equipment's effectiveness, so you can go for the tools and techniques like TPM, single minutes exchange of dice. If you are having a problem of too much of setting time, so SMED is a tool for you. So whenever you are having a lot of quality rejects, all such thing, you can go for the statistical process control. When there is a lack of consistency, you can go for standard operating procedures. So we are having a different lean tools and techniques based on the necessity or based on the problems in the shop floor. We can implement these different types of tools and techniques. Earlier, these lean tools and techniques were implemented only in the shop floor, but nowadays these lean tools and techniques are equally implementable in the service sector also. Now we have discussed about the concept of lean. Now I would like to share some of the success story of this lean implementation in India by National Productivity Council. This government of India observed that certainly this lean is a very, very important tool for improving the competitiveness. It observed that the major corporations are able to hire the consultants and they are able to implement this lean. Their competitiveness is increasing. Whereas in India, there are a lot of micro, medium, and small scale enterprises which are manned by very few people. Their capital is also very, very less. They are not having the approach to the hi-fi consultants. So the government of India came out with a scheme, Lean Manufacturing Competitiveness Scheme. So it implemented this lean manufacturing in more than 500 mini clusters, whereas the NPC is implemented in 400 mini clusters across India. You can see in the presentation, the map of India is given, and also how many mini clusters were there in each and every state. When I am speaking about the 400 mini clusters, each and every cluster may be having from 6 to 10. If you take average 8, 400 into 8, 3,200 MSME units, National Productivity Council implemented this lean manufacturing and helped them to improve their productivity and at the same time increase their competitiveness. Let me share some of the cases. So this is about the organization. So you see, the organization, after seeing this diagnostic study, they came out with a conclusion. The main problem for the time being is their customer rejection is very high. Their internal rejection is also very high. Then we started implementing this lean tool, find out what are all the different reasons for their customer rejection and also the internal rejection. We came out with the different reasons, collected the data, put it in the Pareto chart or Pareto diagram. So we concluded that there are three major what is called reasons which are attributing to sizable rejections. One is remer change time is not fixed. Then based on the internal discussion with suitable input from the machine manufacturer and also from other service provider, remer change time is fixed. Work instruction is prepared and also the control points were displayed wherever possible. So the main three reasons were, one is remer change time is not fixed. The other thing is pertaining to operators. Some, they are not aware of the work instruction. They are not aware of they are not given some due training. So remer change time is fixed. Work instruction has been prepared and control points were displayed. Through this thing, the top three reasons were addressed. And immediately we can see some improvements in the quality trend also. The customer quality rejection came down from 5,000 ppm to 2214 ppm. Internal quality rejection came down from 35,000 ppm to 18,257 ppm. So by this reduction in the rejections, there is a sizable reduction in the resources, maybe the material and also the energy. The customer satisfaction and the employee satisfaction also improve. The second case is pertaining to an organization where they are using this cupola furnace. This organization, based on their comparison with their peers, found out that they are using some bed coke for heating in the what is called the heater in the cupola furnace. They found out that the consumption of bed coke was very high in their industry. When we approached them, they told that their main problem when compared with the other organization is their bed coke consumption is very high. Then we started probing. First question we asked, where are you using the bed coke? Why are you using the bed coke? How much you are using? What is the reason for using this much quantity? Some places they were able to give the answers. Then they are not having a very good or justifiable answer to justify this 500 kgs in a batch. Then we took some trials, 500, 475, 450, 425. In fact, to our surprise, when they are firing in the cupola furnace metal with 500 kgs of bed coke, they were having some quality problem also. The fluidity is also a problem. But when they are firing with 425 kgs of bed coke, there is a sizable reduction in the bed coke, and also the quality level or the fluidity has increased. Then we standardized this thing. This has resulted in the consumption of bed coke by 15%, and also the rejection from 12% to 9%. The third thing is, we saw in an organization, they were telling that they are not happy with the finishing. Okay, Then we started probing further. What is your problem with the finishing? They're telling that some operation is happening after the painting, then the painting is peeled or it is going away. Then further we probed. Before that operation, they are doing some cutting. When we asked why there is a need for the cutting, they are telling that the teeth is having extra size, so there is a need for the cutting. Why the teeth is having extra size? We saw the pattern. Then the pattern is having the highest in the specification. They are having the highest level. The teeth was made at the highest level in the pattern. So only the teeth is having extra dimension, which need to be cut after the painting. When they are cutting, it is causing some damage in the finishing. So we concluded or come to some conclusion, the pattern needs to be remodified or modified with some reduced specification. The pattern was made with a reduced specification and the unnecessary cutting is avoided. So there is a saving of the material. So there is a, what is called, the rejection has come down. So this we did for one product. And when we are doing this for one product, it can be horizontally deployed for multiple products in the organization. So for example, with this one product only, they were able to save around 4,36,000 Indian rupees. So they're all MSME units. For them, 4,36,000 rupees per annum, the two recurring, it's a very, very big improvement. The fourth case, which I would like to discuss with you, is a case where the material is stacked in the wooden boxes or the wooden packed containers. They started with a problem, excess requirement of space for the wood storage. Then we started probing further, why you want excess storage? So here there is a requirement for storing the wood. Why you want to have wood? We need to stack our material in the wood. Then which is not reusable also. From the wood, then we designed a thing with a collapsible, what is called steel container. From the wood, we changed to steel, which is reusable. Now the space problem is also solved. Material is consumption also reduced drastically. If you see, the cost saving is to the tune of 6 lakh Indian rupees. That is also recurring every year. So from this 4 case, you might have concluded very safely that lean is a very, very important tool which helps in the reduction of wastages. It can be used in the reduction of resources also. And if you see all these 4 cases, the investment required is very, very less. Maybe except the 4th thing where there is a very, very minor investment. The other places, there is no investment at all. Whereas the benefit is to the tune of many lakhs of rupees. So this is all about lean manufacturing. Now let us go to the concept, other concept, MFCA. This material flow cost accounting is a tool developed in Germany in the late 1990s. And in Japan, more than 300 companies have adopted. It also can be used in conjunction with environmental management system, that is ISO 14000 family. If you see what is MFCA, this material flow cost accounting is a tool which helps you to identify how the material is flowing. It helps increases the transparency of the material use practices. So once you are transparent, once you are knowing how much material is used at what places, what is the output you are taking, then you can take some suitable intervention or you can take some suitable actions to reduce the unnecessary wastages. There are some 2 important perspectives of MFCA evaluation. The first thing is it traces and quantifies the flows. The second thing is it assigns cost to each and every material. You can see there are some 4 cost elements as per material flow cost accounting. The first thing is material is costed. The energy is costed. The third thing is whenever we are doing some process, because of labor or depreciation or maintenance or transportation, we are incurring some cost. So we assigned some cost to the system also. The fourth thing is the cost incurred towards the waste management. So that is towards waste handling, storage, treatment and disposal, reworking of rejected products, recycling, etc. The significance of MFCA, you can see, we all speaks about waste. The thing which is waste for us may be useful for somebody else. So we should not use the term at all, waste at all. So here you can see Japanese concept, what a shame to be wasteful. So nothing is waste. So material loss, once it is visible, you find out the hidden profit. So when there is a lot of material loss, this MFCA helps you to identify where there is losses, where there are losses, and then you can come out with a good solution. When you are implementing this concept called material flow cost accounting, these are all the three terminologies are very, very important. The first one is quantity centers. That is the center that may be the place where the material is stored or the production process is happening, product is stored or the disposal system. So the quantity center is the first thing, the place where the material comes. Something goes as the output, something goes as the waste. Then the next thing is positive products. Whatever we call as the product or the output, useful output, can be termed as the positive products. Whatever we termed as the waste is not really waste. It can be termed as the negative products from that quantity center. You can see how it can be done in the. So you can. This is the pictorial representation of quantity center. Quantity center is nothing but a place where some production or the activity happens. You give some input materials. There will be output from that work center, that is output as good products. And from that work center, some wastages may be, or some so-called wastages may be going, maybe in the form of solid, maybe in the form of liquid, or maybe in the form of gases. So you find out what are all the losses or the negative products coming from that cost center. Once you identify what are all the negative products coming, and if you start assigning the value to that negative product, it will give a lot of visibility. Then once you know that this much amount is being lost in that place, you will come out with a suitable intervention to reduce the loss. You see, that name itself is telling about material flow cost accounting. You see, there are traditional cost accounting, and now we are discussing about material flow cost accounting. In the traditional cost accounting, what happens is the total cost is attributed to the good product. No amount is being attributed to the negative product. Only the waste disposal cost is accounted to the negative. Whereas in the MFCA, whenever some negative product is coming, you maybe appreciate the fact. Whenever some negative product is coming, some amount of material is used there, some amount of resources is used there. So some amount has to be, or some financial value has to be attributed to the negative product. And then, as usual, we should attribute some waste disposal cost also. Let us take some small example. We can take some example where you are giving some 100% material of 100 kg, which cost Indian rupees of rupees 100. Some process is taking place where the good product or the positive product is 80%. So for getting this 80% of products, we are incurring cost of rupees 100 in the form of material and rupees 60 in the form of processing. So totally 160 rupees is incurred for getting this 80 kg of output. This negative input, if negative output, if you see, we are getting around 20 kg. No financial value is attributed to this 20 kg. We are just saying around the waste disposal cost is 20. If you, on the other hand, if you see this material flow cost accounting, the same thing, if you see, the product is only 80%, positive product is 80%. Here we are telling that out of the total cost of 100 rupees plus 60 rupees, 80% only is coming as the positive product. So it is only 128. Something is coming as a negative product, which is around 20%. 20% of 160 is around 32. The value of the negative product, which includes the material and processing cost, is rupees 32, and the waste disposal cost is 20. You can see the difference between the traditional cost accounting and the MFCA. In the traditional cost accounting, no cost is attributed to the negative product, so it is 0. Only waste disposal cost is shown, that is 20. So the total cost is rupees 20 as per the traditional cost accounting. Whereas in reality, as per MFCA also, some amount of material is being wasted, some amount of processing is being wasted, that accounted to be rupees 32. So the waste disposal cost is rupees 20 as usual. The total cost of negative product is rupees 52. If you see in the cost accounting traditionally, it is 20. If you see as per MFCA, the total wastage is, or the total cost of the negative product is 52. Once if you come to know that this much cost is being spent or this much cost is being wasted, then you will come out with the methodology to come reduce the things. So this speaks about the MFCA implementation cycle. If any organization is interested in implementing this MFCA, they can first select the suitable products. They can start from the gate to gate also, or they can start from some point till some point. First you identify the products. First, then you identify the boundary. Then what are all the, how the material is being flowing from one process to other process. You do some mapping. Then, as we discussed, you identify some quantity centers. Then determine the methods of what are all the costing, what are all the cost being used in this place, all such things. Then coming to this core calculation, you collect the material flow data, you assign some costing, you analyze how much it is going for the positive product, how much it is going for the negative product. Once you identify how much is going for the negative product, you come out with some plan to solve the problems. Implement them. So this MFCA is a never-ending process. We are ideally aiming at a place where 100% will be the positive products. So today I may have 80% positive product and 20% negative product. I may come out with a solution to reduce the negative product from 20% to 18%. Will my journey over? Not necessarily, or certainly not. Then I have to reduce the negative product from 18 to 16. So this is the MFCA implementation cycle. Even in this MFCA, National Productivity Council, in association with the Asian Productivity Association and also JPC, carried out some pilot projects. We identified some 4 model companies in the state of Gujarat in India. We implemented this material flow cost accounting. There is sizable benefit accrued because of this MFCA. Government of India also supported National Productivity Council to propagate this MFCA concept through the booklets, guidebooks, videos, and also some training programs. Recently, MFCA certification was awarded to one prominent corporate in India, L&T Electrical Automation, in the state of Gujarat. I will just share some 2-3 cases of MFCA also. You can see, if you take any MFCA, the focus will be on the packing also. In the first case, or before the implementation of MFCA, you can see the product is 100% covered. If you see the specification of the customer is worried that the product should not be damaged during the transit. He or she won't be telling that my product should be 100% covered. So the covering, whether is it required to have 100% covering, or is it be okay with 80% covering, that solution has also cropped up. The second thing is the thickness of the wood. Whether is it that much necessary? So we came out with some 2 interventions. One is the quantity or the coverage of the wood is reduced. The second thing is the thickness of the wood is also reduced. Here, the benefit accrued is sizable reduction in the wood, which is a recurring benefit in terms of lakhs of rupees. The other thing is, when we implemented this MFCA, one of the important waste which goes out is what is called waste air with some heat. Whenever we are spending some gaseous emissions from our organization, and if it goes with some heat is nothing but energy. Then when we are implementing this MFCA, we came out with a waste heat recovery solution. So because of this waste heat recovery solution, when the exhaust gas was going at around 250 degrees Celsius, one boiler necessity itself is eliminated, and there is an annual saving of around 60,000 SCM gas. So these two cases will explain how the material conservation is possible with the implementation of tools like MFCA. Having seen lean manufacturing contributing towards wastage reduction, MFCA contributing towards the material conservation, National Productivity Council came out with a novel tool. Can both the lean and MFCA together can we implement? Again, we approached the Asian Productivity Organization. With the help of Asian Productivity Organization, we implemented this integrated lean and MFCA in 4 model units near the capital of India. Let me explain you one case. This is a case of one plastic company. If you see, first of all, we carried out this MFCA. We are giving around 1,69,691 kg of input. If you see, we are getting only around 1,26,000 of output, whereas the remaining material is going as a negative product. Something is going as a rejection, something is lost in the setting time, something is being lost because of power failure. The other two things is major chunk is going because of runner and lumps. The first activity which we did was doing this quantity center. What is the input we are giving? What is the output we are taking? And we concluded the major loss is happening in the runner and lumps. Then we came out, we implemented this. First we adopted this MFCA. This much input we are giving. This is the output. The major losses are through runner and lumps. Once we identify the problems with the help of MFCA, then we started coming out with a solution using this lean techniques. We started having this Kaizen. Why this runner problem is having? We had an interaction with all the people who are working in that section. Then that came out with a solution, because instead of cold mold, if we can move to the hot mold, this runner problem can be avoided. So by moving from this design to that design, we are able to get rid of this runner problem. So this is one example or one case where sizable resource conservation was possible or with the help of MFCA and lean. The second place, we implemented this MFCA. We came out or mapped the energy flow. We observed that 20% of the energy is being used when the machine is when it is during idle, which is not a value-added activity. Then this input was given or taken for the lean implementation. We came out some 2-3 solutions. The first solution, when the machine was idle, it is taking a lot of power. One easy solution is, there are a lot of techniques or technologies available to have the power saver. That was not available in that organization. We came out with a very, very easy solution. It's not a very big idea. It's a very easy idea. When it is idling, why this much energy is being lost? Why it is why there is no power saving mode? So we came out and installed this power saver. The other thing is, It's heat is being lost when when the machine is idle. So we came out with we did some metallurgical study also, and we came out with the aluminum casted heaters where the heat dissipation, everything is taken care, and there is a sizable reduction in the loss. By having these interventions like power saving mode or coming out with aluminum casted heaters in the barrel, we could save a lot of energy in the organization also. You see implementation of this green accrued benefits total of around 25.61 lakhs at this organization. I was telling around 5 units were selected for this pilot study with the help of Asian Productivity Organization. We implemented an integrated lean and MFCA in these 5 organizations. You can very well see this integrated approach has resulted in this saving. These are all the saving to the organization, and at the same time, if you see, there is sizable saving in the material. There is sizable saving in the energy. It is not only for the business, it also is going well with the environment. We are not only going to the development, we are going at the sustainable development. So, National Productivity Council, with the help of APO and all, is propagating this lean and MFCA. We are coined the term green lean, and we are propagating this concept to various industries. Nowadays also we are conducting a lot of webinars in this topic. Like this is being propagated, which is having a good what is called potential to improve the competitiveness of the organization, and also having the good potential to conserve the material. With this thing, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you, Mr. Endo.
Thank you so much for your valuable and insightful presentation. So let's get started with the question and answers. I'd like to ask you several questions. First question is on SMEs. Could you explain how lean and MFC can be effectively introduced in SMEs? What are some typical barriers and how can they be overcome?
Thank you, Mr. Endo. First, I would like to address about the barriers. We implemented this lean MFCA mostly in MSME units. The barriers which we observed are, the first thing is lack of awareness. Nowadays there is increased awareness, but still even now also we are not reached a sizable level where there is a good awareness among the entrepreneurs about the concept of lean and the benefit which can be obtained from the concepts of lean. First one is awareness. The second thing is about talent pool. If you take the case of MSME units, most of the MSME units will be having very, very less manpower. They may not be trained or having the required skill set to implement the concepts like lean and MFCA. The third thing is having a wrong idea or the wrong mentality that to introduce these concepts like lean and MFCA, we need to have a lot of capital expenditure. These are all the 3 barriers, and the potential solution is to come out with a lot of awareness program, maybe in the form of booklet, maybe in the form of webinar or through programs, to brief the entrepreneurs the benefits which are very good with because of the implementation of lean and MFCA, which improves their competitiveness, which improves the productivity, which improves the product profitability, and also good for the environment. The second thing is coming out when we are speaking about the talent pool, the organizations like APO and the NPOs and the respective governments are also playing a lot of role in developing the required skill set. Even if you take the case of APO or NPC India, we are having a lot of e-learning programs. We are conducting programs. We are training a lot of people with this concept. When we are training this concept, they can implement in some other MSME units. So we are trying to address the problem of talent pool. The third thing I was mentioning about the wrong impression that it requires a lot of capital. You might have seen whatever the cases I have shown, most of the benefits are obtained with zero investment or least investment. So by addressing these three things, I hope that we can very effectively implement this Lean and MFCA in MSME units.
Thank you very much for your comprehensive and kind answers. So I'd like to move on to the next question, which is about model companies. In your presentation, you mentioned several cases in India. So could you give some more details on the model companies selected for the MFCA initiatives by the NPC India?
In fact, NPC India, in association with the APO and JPC, identified 4 model companies in the state of Gujarat. We had consultants from APO, JPC, and also the consultants from National Property Council. They worked with a team of local MSME units. They trained the people. They implemented this MFCA concept, and which are very, very widely accepted by these 4 organizations. If you see the cost benefit, I was telling about 4 organizations. In the first organization, when we are about to complete the full life cycle of project implementation, they implemented the benefits or the things suggested with almost immediate payback. In one organization, the payback period was only 9 days. The remaining 2 organizations also, their payback period was less than 1 year. And if you see the quantum of benefit, it is to the tune of 200 lakhs or 2 crores Indian rupees. You see, with these MFCA concepts, which are implemented in MSME units with the help of APO and JPC, there is sizable benefit with payback, which is very, very less. That's what I'm telling. In 2 organizations, it is less than 10 days. In 2 organizations, it is less than a year. So by seeing this case, we can very safely conclude it's a very good tool for resource conservation, and also it makes good business sense also.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saravanan, for your introducing very concrete examples. And also, in your presentation, you talked about the combination or integration of Lean and MFCA, and I think it's a very important topic. So, what are the basic synergies between Lean techniques and MFCA?
When we are speaking about green productivity, Lean, and MFCA, one of the point which brings all the things together is identification or the elimination of quote unquote waste. All the 3 things are connected together by the term waste. When we are speaking about Lean, it's a very, very time tested tool. It had its origin from Japan. Now it's applied across globe. There is no doubt about the efficacy of Lean, that it will reduce the wastages and improve the profitability. The second tool, it had its origin in Germany. It is implemented in many companies in Japan. It can be used in conjunction with 14,000 also. If you see, based on our integrated approach, this Lean is a tool, comes out with a very, very good solutions to many of the problems. I kindly refer to the first slide which I was mentioning. The productivity or the continuous improvement can be achieved by reducing any types of waste, maybe capital, labor, energy, material, or services. Lean relentlessly worked towards the achievement of reduction of any form of input. Whereas, if you speak about green productivity, we are much concerned about sustainable development and also the reduction of factors of input, more so with respect to the energy and material. If we can identify what all the material wastage is happening, what all the energy wastage is happening, and if we give these problems to Lean, certainly Lean will come out with a suitable solution to address this problem. So, to summarize, this green productivity, Lean, MFCA, all are having a synergy or connected together by the term waste. This MFCA can be used as a diagnostic tool to identify the quantum of wastages happening in the resources or the material. And lean can be used as a very, very useful tool to come out with a solution to reduce the energy wastages or the material wastages. Both this lean and MFCA complement together and work for the benefit of the organization and also for the benefit of environment.
Thank you for your elaboration. So, how can lean combined with the MFCA play an essential role, particularly in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, it's a very nice question. Now we are going through a very, very rough patch of economic activities. So you see, now we may be facing a intermittent phase where there is a problem with respect to the demand, all such things. If you see any organization to survive in this very rough patch like reduced demand, the organizations can sustain only if they can improve their productivity or improve their competitiveness. Because nowadays each and every customer is more concerned about the value. Whether whatever I am going to spend, is it worth spending? So the organization has to do a lot of value analysis, has to relentlessly reduce the material wastages or whatever the wastage is happening in the organization, improve their competitiveness, come out to the best possible rate for the customer. So if we have to come out with a reduced rate or the best rate for the customer, that is possible only if you identify and eliminate the wastages. Identification and elimination of wastages can be very easily done with the help of tools like MFCA and lean. So it's my personal opinion, it is more important to apply the tool like lean and MFCA now, rather than when we are having a very, very rosy picture. Now maybe a difficult patch. These are all the tools will help the people to tide over the difficult patches. So certainly lean and MFCA will help the organization to reduce the wastages, improve their competitiveness, to sustain the very competitive market during this pandemic-like situation.
Thank you very much. And in your presentation and also your answers to the question, you touched upon the role of APO. So my final question to you is that what roles could the APO play in assisting its 21 member countries to expand applications of lean and MFCA to intensify their green productivity efforts?
Thank you, Mr. Endo. So now itself, APO is taking a lot of initiative. And in fact, we are very thankful to APO for associating with the NPC India in two of the model projects which I was describing. One is implementation of MFCA in some model units in Gujarat, and also implemented integrated lean and MFCA in some model units near capital region of New Delhi. So APO is already assisting the member countries through the model projects. Certainly, because of the situations like this pandemic, and also there is a need for the continuous improvement towards the resource conservation, the APO has to further improve the creation of more talent pool, creation of the awareness through booklet or video or any training programs. Certainly, the P-Talk like this also goes well in creating the awareness about the green productivity. So one of the important tasks for the APO may be a creation of the awareness. The other thing is creation of the suitable talent pool. They have to develop the consultants who can effectively implement the concepts like MFCA and also the lean. The third thing is one approach could be creating the awareness, the talent pool across the sectors. And there may be some sectors where more potential may be available. So if APO can identify the sectors where more potential is available for this MFCA and lean, that also will be fetching a lot of benefit. To summarize, generally APO can continue. Now also they are doing this awareness creation activity, but they can improve or increase the scale of the operation. The second thing is creation of the talent pool. The third thing is they can do some specific sector specific maybe some material may be prepared, some demonstration projects can be carried out in some sector specific these things. These are all the places where APO through the NPOs and the respective governments can work in the implementation of green productivity, lean and MFCA.
Thank you very much for your insightful and also very encouraging comments. So actually we are almost out of time, and I'd like to wrap up today's session. It was a wonderful productivity talk with Mr. Saravanan. Once again, I'm grateful to you. Mr. Saravanan, would you please give concluding remarks to our viewers?
I would like to conclude my P-talk with a quote of Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who is revered as the father of India. His one important quote is, "Earth is having for everyone's need, not for everyone's greed." Here, what I refer to greed is, if we, in our effort to improve the productivity or in our continuous improvement, if we started consuming more and more resources, which are having a finity in the nature, after some time we may not have any resources. So we should certainly look at the options or the avenues for reducing the consumption of material and other resources. Normally, as a human being, we all have a feeling or intention to pass a hefty bank balance to the next generation. My sincere question to all of you is, will it be sufficient? In addition to the good bank balance, if we can pass on a good environment, which is having all the resources which we also enjoyed to the further generations, certainly that will be good for the environment and also for the future generations. So certainly this green productivity is a very, very important concept that can be achieved by with the help of tools and techniques learned like Lean and MFCA. And I hope that APO, other member countries like NPC, other government organizations and government also will play a major role in the propagation of this concept, so that this concept is implemented and the benefit is taken by the environment, by the customer, and also by the entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your inspiring message. We really appreciate your time today. I would also like to thank all the viewers for joining us. The APO will continue to share information and ideas through productivity talks and other online digital platforms. Please subscribe to the APO channel if you haven't already. We look forward to seeing you again soon. In the meantime, stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care and goodbye for now.